Hello and welcome back to another episode of Kinda Crafty Kenzie. So today we are going to do some adorable spring DIYs. So let's go. First DIY, we are going to use this piece of wood that my husband had that he gave me. You guys, I have so much wood in my home that I'm going to be using that a lot more in my DIYs. Mostly because it holds up better, and two, because this was a gift for somebody, so I didn't want to make it on Dollar Tree's MDF board because it's going outside. But anyways, I just painted both sides with a white chalk paint. I gave each side one coat, and now I'm going to use these awesome stencils that I got from the Walmart, y'all. And then, as you can see, I just wrote out the letters, or the stencils, for Happy Easter. I taped them down. You guys, I even measured. Did you see that? I measured. Like I said, this is a gift for somebody that my husband works with, wanted me to make this for his wife. This is the second sign I've made for her, so I was super excited to make them another one. So here we go. Anyways, this is going to be a 2-for-1 because this is a double-sided sign. And like I said, this did go outside. So I wanted to make sure that everything was outdoor friendly. So no, I'm not going to actually put that felt bunny on there. I'm just using it as a pattern, and I am actually using 3 of them because I'm tracing them, and as you can see, it's going to be a Happy Easter sign. So I just taped my bunnies down so that the felt did not move, and then I just went ahead and traced them all. So as you can see, I stenciled out Happy Easter in 2 different size fonts. That's what's awesome about that stencil from a Walmart that I showed you, that stencil pack, because it comes in 3 different size fonts. Anyways, then I have my 3 bunnies, and now it is time to paint. So first I went ahead and went around the Happy Easter with my black paint marker, and I just did this so that when I paint it, it stays like in the lines. This really was kind of silly to do this because you'll see when I do paint that I actually literally painted over the black with the color that I did the letters in, but then I did go back and trace over to give it an edging. Sometimes I think I like to give myself more work. Yeah, because I don't have enough to do. So, 3 kids, a house, a husband, YouTube, all the things. It's not enough. So let's create some more things. Anyways, so I traced everything, my letters and my bunnies, and then I went ahead and painted 3 beads with some white chalk paint because this is going to be my little bunny's tails. Because again, it's going outside and we can't exactly put some cotton on it. So now we're going to take this celery paint, chalk paint, and we're going to use these 3 apple barrel acrylic paints to paint this sign. So as you can see, I used the celery color to go ahead and do the letters. I did do 2 coats to help cover up that black. And then also, it took that much for it to kind of like pop off, because the sign is white and the celery is like a very soft green. But I wanted this sign to be like pastel and like springy and like really soft. I don't know, like those pretty pastel Easter colors. That's why I didn't do my lettering in black. So like I said, it was literally an internal battle with these letters. I did not know what to do. I was going to do brown, and I was going to do black, and I was going to do gray. Anyways, we landed on green, so here we are. So that's what I did for those, and then I just went ahead and painted the bunnies, and I painted one that yellow daffodil color, and then one, I think it's cloudless, and then the other one is that like pink color from Walmart. And the apple barrel paint is super cheap, you guys. It's only 50 cents, and it really does go a long way. It did take 2 coats for the bunnies as well because it is acrylic paint again, and they're all 3 very light colors. So, you know what I'm trying to say. Everything got 2 coats of paint. So, like I said, even after I covered up the black lettering, I knew I was going to come back in. I like to do this around like lettering when I do stencils and stuff to kind of clean up the edges, for one. And two, the background of the sign is white, so it's really light. And then, of course, the letters and the bunnies are really light as well. So I knew they were going to need something to help them pop off, so that's why I did that. Now, on the bunnies, I decided to go ahead and do stitching because I just didn't want all these solid black lines. And I just think the stitching is really cute and sweet. I did a lot of it back in Valentine's Day on my DIYs, and some people really liked it and some people really didn't. And the ones who really didn't made sure they told me about it. So this one's for you guys. But anyways, I think the stitching's really cute. And, you know, I do me, you do you. So I did stitching. And to attach the little bunny tails, I went ahead with some E6000 and some hot glue and just stuck them right on there. I think they're so cute. Anyways, then I went ahead with kind of, I call it like the backwards distressing. Instead of sanding the paint off to lighten it, we put more paint over the paint. You see what I'm doing. Anyways, this only works on certain colors because you do need to blend into your background. So of course it was white, so that was really easy because my background was white, and you see what it looks like. Now, for the other part of this DIY, for the back of the sign, because like I said, it is reversible, she absolutely loves all things farmhouse. So I knew she would love a windmill. Now, I just did a DIY with a windmill in my last video, and it will be linked down below or up in the iCards or somewhere. You guys can check it out. It was a collab with Pajama Crafts, and I did this like a planter with a windmill, and I did the same method on how to distress it, except I used white chalk paint instead of plaster, and that's just because I accidentally grabbed the wrong paint this time. And then I came in with some antique at the end to give that rust look. Like I said, I break it down a lot more for you in that video if you want to see how I do this, but this is how I just galvanize or make my metal look old, I guess you could say. So for the welcome, I thought black would be fine. So I just went ahead and painted it with my chalk paint, and then after that was all painted and dry, I did go in with a paint marker and clean up the edges again. I decided to do the same backwards distress thing with the letters on this side with the white chalk paint over the black, and look at that. I absolutely love that. I think it just looks so good. It makes it look weathered and stuff without needing to sand your arm off, which I still ended up sanding. I sanded the letters a little bit because I got a little heavy-handed. I lost a little bit of footage here, you guys. I apologize. And then I did, because I was working on the other side of the sign and bouncing it around, I did knock a little bunny tail off. So I had to fix him after I sanded this sign, but I wanted everything to match. So I did sand here and there, and I did sand around the edges of the sign as well. So to attach my windmill to the sign, I did use E6000 and hot glue again. I find E6000 to hold really, really well. Any kind of super bond glue will work. Some people hate E6000 because of the smell. It doesn't bother me. I'm in a pretty well ventilated area, and there's usually a fan going. And then I hate super glue. I hate to touch it. I hate when it gets on my skin. I just can't handle it, so I can't use it. But we're all different. Just some kind of glue. You want to use something other than hot glue, especially when you're putting something outside. So anyways, I just attached this little windmill. As you can see, it took the place of the O in the word welcome, and I love it. Now you guys, this project does not have the best outtake at the end. I'll just tell you now. And I apologize for that, but like I said, it was a gift, and my husband snuck it out of the house before I could really get footage of it, but I did my best with pictures. I just want to take a second and welcome anybody who is new here today. I am so excited that you decided to click on my video. My name is Mackenzie, aka Kenzie, and I am a stay-at-home mom to 3 little girls. I live in a very small rural town in Pennsylvania, and as you can see, my channel is all about DIY, crafting, home decor, turning trash to treasure, repurposing, and of course some shopping hauls. I try to create inexpensive and budget-friendly home decor to inspire y'all to create some of your own. So if that is something that you enjoy watching, go ahead and click that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn your bell notification on. I try to upload 1 to 2 times a week. And I am also over on Instagram at Mackenzie Miller 85, and I can also be found on Facebook under Kinda Crafty Kenzie. Those links will be in the description box of this video and in my bio here on YouTube. I love when you guys comment because I love to interact with you guys. So make sure you leave a comment on this video. Say hi if you're new. Say hello if you've been subscribed. You already know how much I appreciate you. I do my best to comment back to every single comment, but sometimes it can be easier to message me over on Instagram. But whatever you decide, I'm here for it. Okay guys, now let's get back into some crafts. So for this next DIY, we are going to use some more scrap wood. I don't have any measurements for any of this wood, you guys, because it's literally scrap wood that my husband has worked with, cut apart, you know, and just throws into a bin for me because he knows I love to use wood like this. We do tons of DIYs here at my home, so he's always building something for someone in the house, or even my mom or my grandfather. So we constantly have leftover wood. So I really need to start using it up. But like I said, I don't have the dimensions or measurements for this. I can get it if you really, really want it. But honestly, it's just what size you want your project to be. You know, that's what I do. I just go, I have a project in mind, and then I just go and look for the piece of wood that I feel would be the right size, and I roll with it. But as you can see, I did cover both of these pieces of wood with the Java chalk paint. It's by Folk Art, Home Decor, and truffle would work, and I could have used truffle, but my Java is getting really old and thick, and I wanted to use it up, so I just grabbed it. Then I went ahead and painted the top of this with some plaster. I didn't know exactly how I was going to paint this. That's why I just painted the whole thing in Java, and then I just went over the top with plaster once I figured out exactly how I wanted this to look. You can see I did draw some shiplap lines there, but I end up not using them, so that's why I didn't even include it in the video. But after all that paint dried, then I went ahead and distressed the bottom part of the piece of wood with some white chalk paint. I'm actually making a little basket. You'll see. It'll make sense in a second. And as you can see, I'm going to use nautical rope for my handle. So I did mark where I wanted the handle to lay. Then I did take a piece of nautical rope and unbraided it, and then just cut the a little piece off and tied it in like the fake knot. I do this a lot, and a lot of you commented that you thought it was a pretty cool idea. It's for those lazy crafters who don't feel like drilling. No, we're not lazy. I just didn't feel like drilling. So anyways, I just laid down my nautical rope with some hot glue there where I marked it out with a pencil. And then I'm just going to go ahead and put that piece of wood, that smaller piece of wood, over top of that rope. And it's like the top of the basket. You know what? You'll see, it will make sense in like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. So anyways, I did glue on top the rope, and then I did, I put glue on top of the rope, and then I put glue where the board would lay. Sometimes the words disappear, but they come eventually. Then I didn't want this rope to, like the handle, to flap around, so I went ahead and attached it with a little bit of hot glue at the top. And now I'm going to go ahead and attach my little fake knots. Is it coming together for you guys now? Anyways, then I went ahead and continued to distress the rest of the basket with the white chalk paint, and I even distressed the rope. I wasn't worried about if it got on the plaster or not, because you really wouldn't see it, and it's going to be covered up here in a little bit. So next I just took the stencil from the Dollar Tree and some of my agave and white chalk paint. I mixed them together because I wanted to lighten up the agave a little bit, but it still didn't give me the color I was looking for, so I added in some of the cloudless blue acrylic paint from Walmart, and it gave me like that really nice green blue like vibe that I wanted. So then I just like kind of did the stamping method with the paintbrush, with a stencil brush, over top the words on the stencil. I absolutely love when stencils have the words wrote out like this versus me needing to like go letter by letter and measure and all of that. I just think this is so much easier and so much faster. I just wipe my little stencil off in between, and then I just use the heat gun on my words in between as well. You guys probably hear my kitten meowing. My kids went outside and she's very mad that they left her. So anyways, I do have a CRICUT, but I haven't even turned it on yet, and I got it at Christmas time, and I'm just so intimidated, but that's just a whole nother subject. So eventually I'll be working with my CRICUT, and I don't have to stencil. But I like stenciling. I think it's pretty when it's a painted stencil.
So now for my latest obsession, and that are these Sola wood flowers. I absolutely love these. I first saw them on Liz Mordecai and Decor's YouTube channel, and I adore all of her DIYs, and she uses them a lot. So once I saw her use them, I knew I had to have them. And Sola wood flowers actually just had a BOGO sale on these mini flowers that I'm using, along with like an already 60% off. And I believe they are still 60% off right now. So you've got to get to their website and check them out. I'm not sponsored by them, and Liz doesn't even know I'm talking about her channel, but I'm going to link all of that information down below for you guys because I love these flowers and I love Liz's channel, and I think you guys will love them too. So now I'm just going to make a messy like crisscross bow out of all this ribbon. All the ribbon except for the green blue ribbon that you see me working with there is from Amazon, and I will have that all linked below for you guys in my description box, but the blue green ribbon is from the Dollar Tree. So all I do to make this bow, you guys have probably seen them, you probably made them, you've seen me make them, all of the above. You can see I just took those different pieces of ribbon, piece them together in like an X shape, and then just tie them in the middle with some twine. So now I'm just going to attach that to the bottom of my little basket, and then to top it all off, I am going to add one last little Sola wood flower there to kind of hide that twine. And also I just think it's so pretty, and you guys, I'm obsessed with this. This is definitely my favorite out of this whole video. I love it. I love the colors, but let me know what you think below. For this next DIY, I'm just going to use some of these rectangular planks that I get from the Dollar Tree and some of these jumbo craft sticks from Walmart that I use to piece my larger sign. Like when I want to attach two signs together, I use those all the time. So what I am doing is kind of just making like a palette sign, kind of like the little ones the Dollar Tree sells that I use all the time to make things like that little palette. But I just wanted to make like a larger piece. So instead of piecing a whole bunch of them together, I just decided to kind of make one on my own. And I would have used scrap wood, but it was dark outside and I didn't want to go out there. So I decided to use these. Anyways, so I just hot glued 3 jumbo craft sticks down onto those 3 wood planks. I got one of my craft sticks a little off center, and a little piece of that rounded craft stick was poking out on the edge, so I just used these fancy scissors to cut that off. Then I'm going to use my chip brush from the Dollar Tree and give this palette like a very sloppy, very not full coverage paint job. I'm literally going to cover this, so you really don't even need to paint it if you don't want to. I was more so concentrating around the edges, where you're going to see it more, but I also like to use it when I am going to attach some form of paper down. I like to have paint on top of my wood. So this is literally a printout, you guys, that I saw online somewhere. I think I looked up like mason jar pictures just off of like Google, and like this came up, and I thought it was so pretty, and I absolutely love the colors. So I'm gonna link that below for you guys if I am able to. And then I just Mod Podged my little palette, and I'm just gonna simply lay the paper down. And now it is literally printer paper printed with my regular printer, you know, nothing fancy. So I was nervous as can be if this was going to bleed, because I've done this before and it's bled, and this was some super dark colors, as you can see, almost like, you know, like a greenish, a blue, green, teal, turquoise. I don't even know what you would call that, you guys. Anyways, I love that color though. So I really wanted to use it, and you guys know my obsession with mason jars, and I wanted to use Mod Podge because you'll see why. And thank goodness it didn't bleed. It worked. I was so excited. I made sure that my under layer of Mod Podge was really dry before I put the top layer on, and I didn't go really heavy. Then I could not find my X-Acto knife, so that is why I'm using this little miniature weapon to cut this little bit of paper off of this sign. I know it looks wicked. I love that though. That is my new Work Pro like box cutter. I don't know, blade. I don't know what it is. I just like, I can work it. It's nice. I love it. I love it. And it's pink. It's pink. Anyways, As you can see, I cut the paper down the middle, which was a little hard on the heart to cut the beautiful picture, but I wanted it to look like it was on a palette. So that is why I did that like that. And as you can see, it came off super easy, super neat. And then I just took some sandpaper and went around the edges to clean up any of the paper, and it looked amazing. Then I took another one of my crisscross messy bows with 2 pieces of burlap from Amazon that is linked for you guys, and made it out of that. And then I took some adorable little solo wood flowers and incorporated them into this DIY too, and the colors just matched amazing, and I'm in love. I wasn't sure if I wanted this to hang or stand. Probably stand, so I just went ahead and attached some tumbling tower blocks along with those little cube blocks from the Dollar Tree on the back, and I think this turned out so pretty. For my last DIY, I am going to go ahead and use this little frame sign from the Dollar Tree. Now, I don't know why I work so hard to get that weekend word scraped off of there, because I end up covering this with craft sticks anyway, but apparently I needed to take out a little bit of frustration, and this sign was just in my... It was just in my radar. So then I used a super high-tech way of measuring my craft sticks, eyeballing it and then tracing it with a pencil, getting that measurement slightly wrong, and then remeasuring it again with a second craft stick on the other craft stick. And anyways, it worked out in the end. I had to trim and adjust here and there, but whatever. I just hate measuring. So anyways, then I just glued down 560 craft sticks onto this framed picture to go ahead and cover up that wonderful phrase right there, and it worked out perfectly. I was going for like a shiplap look, but you know, I could not get the back off the sign because Dollar Tree upped their game a little bit, and instead of just hot gluing the back on, they actually nailed it in, and I just was too lazy to mess with that. So anyways, that's why I made the backing. Plus it looks a little bit better. I like it like this. Anyways, then I painted around the edges of the sign with some plaster chalk paint. The color of the sign, or the frame I mean, wasn't terrible, and I totally would have kept it, but it was kind of, had boo-boos here and there, and I wanted it all to be like, I wanted my own colors, okay? So I put plaster over it. Then I decided to get a little fancy, and I took some of my hazelnut chalk paint and I mixed it with some water, and I wanted to create like a really light stain color. I've done this before with acrylic paint. I've mixed it with water and literally painted craft sticks with it, and believe it or not, it like brings out that wood look in the craft stick. It was really pretty how it turned out when I did it before. So I wanted to try to do that with this hazelnut color because I thought it would make like a really pretty like light brown stain look. So in the meantime, I let that dry on its own because I didn't want to use a heat gun because of all the glue underneath the craft sticks, and it was wood and I used water, so I wanted to let that dry for a bit. So then I decided to paint my little flower, and I got this from the Dollar Tree, and a friend actually picked these up for me. I can't find it at my Dollar Tree. So then I painted the center of that little flower with white and then added some yellow to it because my brain says the center of a flower is supposed to be orange or yellow, but then my brain also says I don't like that color. So my brain's confused. So that's what I did there, but I ended up actually painting the entire center white. Even after I added the yellow, I went back to just straight white. I don't know what it is. I just don't like the yellow on the color. I don't know. I'm confused. Then I took some celery chalk paint and then just painted like the stem of the flowers and the leaves. So I decided that since my backing on my sign was going to be like a light brown, I would go ahead with some of the wax, the antique wax, and do that same look on my pot of my flower. I didn't mix it with water or anything because obviously antique wax, you know, you put it on and then you wipe it off and it already gives that like pretty stained effect. So that turned out perfect, and I thought my flowers colors were really, really pretty, and I was really happy with those. But then I held the flower up to the back of the sign and decided that looked like baby poo. So I then covered that with plaster chalk paint. Like I said, I love to create more work for myself, but I don't know if it was just maybe I didn't have enough water, maybe I had too much paint, maybe hazelnut is just an ugly paint color. I don't know. It just didn't work. So then I had to break up the color. I needed dimension. I needed to break up that plaster monotony going on there. So I added some of the antique wax on top of the plaster and then wiped it off. I didn't want my frame to be really dark because I definitely wanted my flower pot to pop. Whew! And it did. It turned out good. Then I went ahead and just hot glued this flower down on top of that frame. And I like that color combination way better. Farmhouse, rustic, but still spring. Pretty, pretty, pretty. But to give it a little shabby chic looky, oh my kitten, she can't handle the kids not being in here. I made a crisscross messy bow for this one too, and just attached it on the corner of the frame. Then I attached some nautical rope on the back to give it a little more of that rusticy feel. And this DIY is all done, you guys, and here comes the final reveal. I want to thank you guys for coming along with me today. I had so much fun creating these DIYs. I never know if I want to do farmhouse, rustic, or shabby chic, so I've decided to kind of just mix up my decor and do a little bit of everything in all of my DIYs. That way I always have a nice balanced compilation of these three genres because they are my favorite. So let me know if you guys like that style, where I kind of combine the shabby chic and the farmhouse into one actual project. So I am loving it, and I hope you guys are too. If you like this video, please don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. It really does help my channel grow, and I appreciate it so much. If you aren't already subscribed, please go ahead and consider subscribing and joining my little crafty family. I'd be so honored and happy to have you. Don't forget to go down in my description box and check out Solo Wood Flowers' website. I think you guys will love them. Their flowers are so gorgeous, and they are so much prettier in person. And you guys, until next time, I hope you have a great weekend and a great week, and I will see you guys very, very soon with some more DIYs. Bye, guys.